actually got another question. Do you recommend the investment apps such as Acorns?
I think Acorns is cool. That one, for those that don't know, it will round up a purchase. So if you have something you're buying, it's $1 and some change, it would round it up to the nearest dollar, and then invest that. And so it can build up over time. If you make a lot of purchases, it'll kind of be setting up money aside. And then another one that's cool is called Guac, and that one just does a percentage of your spending. So you can set it, 3 to 5% or whatever you wanted, and then it would just take that percentage and add it on top of your purchase, and then invest that as well. So I think both of those are cool. It's a good way to kind of have that found money that you might, otherwise not have seen, and you really don't notice, the additional amount on your spending. So I think it's a cool way to take money that you might have would just thrown away, or done something that really not as valuable as investing. I just think it shouldn't be your main plan. I don't think it's enough to cover goals like retirement or financial independence. But I think it's a cool way to kind of find money. I just don't think you should rely on that as your main investment plan. I don't think it's going to be enough unless you spend way more than I do. Because when I was looking at it, it's kind of a cool thing of, oh, that's some extra money. So maybe if you want to implement it for that, but I don't think it's enough to be your main plan. So, but that's
Yeah,
just
I
my
agree.
viewpoint. But what do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, your Roth IRAs, your 401ks, tax advantage retirement accounts, those are really what we're going to recommend for your actual investment goals, especially for retirement. So when it comes to Acorns, or I think one's called Webull, and there's Guac, and there's a couple others. They're cool. I had Acorns for a little while. It was kind of fun to look at. But then when you really look at the projections, it's not a lot. And, you know, it's an incentive to spend too. It's like, oh, I'm investing. Let me swipe my card again. Oh, I'm going to invest some more. Let me swipe my card again. I
Mhm.
don't really recommend that kind of habit, because then it just creates a spending habit. In fact, my personal opinion is when you invest, it needs to be really intentional. So when you sit down and you create your budget, figure out how much you want to spend. I recommend 15% of your before taxed income. Throw it into a retirement account, a tax advantage retirement account, and really, just get intentional with it. When you're
Mm.
looking at your budget, know that this certain set of money that's going to go towards it, instead of hoping that you spent enough that month to get a decent amount invested in on your app. So it's a really cool idea. I don't really use it anymore, but if you want to kind of keep it and have that found money and kind of look at it, it is fun. It's kind of cool to see what it can turn into, and maybe it'll buy you a car in 30 40 years. But
Yeah.
really, as your investment plan, I don't recommend it. Tax
Yeah.
advantage retirement accounts all day.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it could be a fun side thing. I think there's also an element to it of, just the intentionality, as you mentioned. You want to have a game plan. And so I think that it's not as dependent on, a game plan based. I think building the habit of investing is also a good thing. This is kind of those apps are a good way just to get into it. If you don't have any habits or you struggle just setting money aside, it could be a good kind of entry point for you. But I think also just building the habit of regularly setting aside, your some of your paycheck to investing, I think is a valuable habit. And so you definitely want to establish that as well, and not just rely on this and hoping it's going to be enough. You want to have a plan that way you're going to meet your goals. And then if you want to use an app, it's a fun way just to kind of find some extra money, but don't make that your main plan.